Good Shabbos.
Okay.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. Wow, do we have...
You have your glasses.
My glasses, right. Okay. Have we got an exciting Shabbos service for you tonight? Not only is it Chag Pesach, but we have so many fun, exciting page numbers for you this evening. As you know, I've been doing the Luach, and there are, it's going to be an adventurous item, so I hope your fingers are ready to do a lot of page turning, because we've got some impact to Kabbalat Shabbat. So some of our old standards, we're going to just dial them down a little bit. But for other things we're going to add to dial it up, you got a festival Amidah, you got a festival Kiddush coming at you. I've got a very interesting drash I hope you like. And of course, Max is here, filling in on some brachot, kind of capturing, although we did have a good discussion on Lecha Dodi, choosing the tune for this evening. But it turns out that we don't say it. So we must have, what was that, a 20-minute conversation? Not applicable for tonight.
Unfortunately.
What?
Yeah, so we will be starting tonight with Mizmor Shir HaShabbat, the psalm for the day of Shabbat, on page 27.
Excellent. And again, we're going to, as we announce the page numbers for the changes this evening and what you have to include, we'll give you a few minutes or a few seconds, if you will, to make sure you navigate to the page numbers, which we will be calling from your Shabbat book. Okay, for those on Zoom, great to see you. Please put yourselves on mute up until the mourner's Kaddish, and then you are welcome to unmute yourselves. Okay. Mizmor shir liyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot lahadonai, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, lehagid baboker chasdecha, ve'emunatcha belalelot, alei asor ve'alei navel, alei higayon bikinor. Mizmor shir liyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot lahadonai, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon. Continue silently to the bottom of the next page. Please join me on page 28 at the mark. Sadikatama yifrach ke'erez balvanon yiskeh shetulim beveis Adonai bechasros Eloheinu yafrichu. Od yenuvun beseva, deshenim verananim yiyu lehagid ki ashar Adonai suri velo avlatabo. Adonai Malach will do it lavish. Continue silently on page 29. Psalm 93 at the far left of the page, in interpretive translation. Entwined in worlds, enwrapped in glory, you are. So it has been, and so it is, eternally you are. Waves pounding out their song reach up to God from their depths, for the song of the sea, beaten to the sound of the breakers, tells of God within. These are proof enough for the faithful that you are the Lord of time.
Mikolot Mayim Rabbi Madim Shureyam Hadir Bamrom Adonai Edo Techanu V'Lachad Kodesh Adonai Leorech Yamim.
Mourners and those observing yard-side, please rise and face east as you are able. If you are on Zoom, please feel comfortable unmuting. Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yomar devra kurte v'yomlich malkute b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yamru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mivorach Leolam Omei Omaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipro'ar v'yitnoman v'yisnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Dekudesha B'richu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiram b'yomar v'yamru Amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru Amen. You may be seated. And now for the drash for the evening. Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom. Since the shelter-in-place order, we at the Pollock household have added in some cabin adventures into our routine as means of keeping the stir-crazies at bay to the best of ability. As things open up, we think some of these newfound activities will stick around. For example, when my husband's work from home started, he brought to the kitchen lunch table his adventurous page-a-day office calendar. Funny what you remember about kitchen tables. My late dad was a dairy farmer, and after the cows were milked and the morning chores complete, he would come in for lunch. So each day, he sat at the kitchen table, listening to the news on a small, rectangular radio that sat in the windowsill, see the small room and the round wooden table, and hear that 1010 Winds style AM radio station hum. As it fills the kitchen, announcers would chime in, much like I will do in just a second, with most of the content that I'm going to mention is courtesy of Chabad.org. I give you, on this day, Friday, April 22nd, 2021, the 20th of Nisan, 5781. On this day in Jewish history, Pharaoh corners Jews, 1313 BCE. Pharaoh's pursuit of the Jews ended on this day on the shores of the Red Sea. A terrified Jewish nation divides into several factions. Some advocated mass suicide. Others wanted to surrender and return to Egypt. The bolder ones prepared to battle the Egyptians, while others advised the nation to pray. God thought otherwise. He instructed the Jews to simply proceed onwards despite the sea which stood in their path. The Jews complied. And the entire following night, they went through the parted waters of the Red Sea. Also, on this day, the passing of Rav Hai Gaon. Rav Hai was the last of the Gonaim, 1038. The year was 1038. Being the last of the Gonaim, which were brilliant Talmudic scholars who headed the great schools of Babylonia during the 5 centuries, shout out to Daf Yomi teams, following the compilation of the Talmud. Son Rav She'er Gaon, Rav Hai was mentioned. Rav Hai was one of the greatest authorities of his time, and his decisions and guidance were sought after by Jewish communities across the world. Rav Hai served his post at Gaon for 40 years. He passed away on the 20th of Nisan, 4798, 1038, at the age of 99. On this day in laws and customs, Chol HaMoed, on the 8th day of Passover, the first 2 and the last 2 are Yom Tov festival days. The middle 4 days are called Chol HaMoed, weekdays of the festival, also called the intermediate days. In Israel, when Passover is observed for 7 days, and the first and the last days are Yom Tov, the middle 5 days are Chol HaMoed. The Yom Tov days are days of rest, during which all creative work is forbidden, as it is on Shabbat, with the exception of certain types of work associated with food preparation, cooking, and carrying. On Chol HaMoed, the prohibition of work is less stringent. Work whose avoidance would result in significant loss is permitted. The Yaleh prayer is included in all prayers and grace after meals. Hallel is partial, and Musaf are recited following the Shachrit morning prayers, which, for those of you who are participating this morning, know this. It is some people's custom not to put on tefillin during the intermediate days. Also on this day, in laws and customs, the Omer tonight. Tomorrow is the spoilers day of the Omer count, since on the Jewish calendar, the day begins at nightfall, and the previous evening, we count the Omer for tomorrow's date after nightfall. Today is the day of the Omer. If you miss the count tonight, which you won't, because you'll be staying tuned for this evening's service, you can count the Omer all day tomorrow, but without the preceding blessing. The 49-day counting of the Omer retraces our ancestors' 7-week spiritual journey from the Exodus to Sinai. Each evening, we recite the special blessing and count the days of the week that have passed since the Omer. The 50th day is Shavuos, the festival celebrating the giving of the Torah at Sinai, and the only time of the year that I now make homemade blintzes, just like one of those another shelter-in-place perks for all of us new cooking and bakingologists. Also, tonight's Sephirah, Connection in Kindness. The teaching of the Kabbalah explain that there are 7 divine attributes that God assumes through which to relate to our existence: love, strength, beauty, victory, splendor, foundation, and sovereignty. In the human being created in God's image, the 7 Sephirot are mirrored in the 7 emotional attributes of the human soul: kindness, restraint, harmony, ambition, humility, connection, and receptiveness. Each of the 7 attributes contains elements of all 7: kindness and kindness, restraint and kindness, harmony and kindness, etc., making for a total of, get this, 49 traits. The 49-day Omer count is thus 49-step process of self-refinement, with each day devoted to the rectification and perfection of one of the 49 Sephirot. Did not know that? Learning more each time we read these drashes within our community. And finally, on this day in Laws and Customs, Night of Learning, it is customary to remain awake on the eve of the 7th of Passover and spend the entire night in Torah study and joyous celebration of the great miracle of the splittings of the sea. So for those that know that Max is at college, you not only get to party when you're in college, you get to party tonight, and that's for everyone, the Night of Learning. I am Leah Pollack with today's On This Day segment right here on your Beth Meyer radio station. Thank you for listening. Chag Sameach and Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you for that.
Please join me on page 39A for the Baruch Hu. Stand and face east as you are able. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Continue silently. Umevi yom umevi laila, umevi deal bien yom uvein laila, tonight's vote shmo el chad kayam tamid en lo chalenu leolam vaed. Baruch ata Adonai hamariv aravim. Please join me on page 40 at the top for Avat Olam. Avat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Havta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachveinu u'v'kumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzotecha li'olam vaed. Pihem chayenu v'yorech yameinu, v'yorech yameinu. Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. V'havtacha tasim rimenu li'olamim, Baruch ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Amen.
Please join me for Shema V'ahavta on page 41, and then we'll continue silently. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha, v'chol nafshecha, v'chol me'odecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha, b'veitecha, v'leftecha, v'aderech, uv'shappecha, v'kumecha, u'kushartam liot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, Uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'b'sharecha. Continue silently to the bottom of the page. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Continue silently on page 43a. And continue on page 44. Umachatu b'ritzom v'kiblu aleihem Moshe Miriam ibnei Yisrael lecha nashira b'simcha rabba v'yamru kulam mi chamocha be'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot usef eleh malchutecha rahu v'necha bokeh yom lifnei Moshe ze'eli anu v'yamru Adonai imloch le'olam Va'ed v'nemar kifadar Adonai Yaakov u'gadlo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai gal Yisrael.
You know, that one is really thematically important because it's the song that they sung at the splitting of the Red Sea.
Exactly right.
Which happened on this date.
Awesome. Okay, join me on page 45, Hashkivenu. First three lines, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha, Ufros aleinu, Sukkot Shlomecha, Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Continue silently to the bottom of the page. Shmartzatenu b'inu l'chaim l'shalom me'ata v'olam ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha Baruch ata Adonai haporei sukkot shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael haporei sukkot shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim.
This brings us to Vishamru. And following Vishamru, we will be doing the additional line for on festivals. This is on page 46 at the top.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'doratam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובני בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וידבר משה ומודה אדוני אל בני ישראל. Please join me for Chatzi Kaddish, found in the middle of page 46. Yekadav Yekadash Shemei Rabba V'amar Devra Kurate V'amlich Malkute B'chayechonu V'yomechon Uv'chayetecho Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Ba'agala Uv'izman Kariv V'yemeru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olamo Me'omaya Yitzbarach Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yipor v'yirman v'naseh v'yitzadar v'yitzalev v'yitzalal Shemei d'Kudusha Lechu Le'elam in kol bechata v'shirata Tush bechata v'nechemata Damiram b'alma
V'yemeru.
Amen. Okay.
So because it is Yom Tov, we will be doing the Yom Tov Amidah instead of the regular Friday night Amidah, which is found on page 306. So prepare to turn to page 314.
No, 306 to 314.
That's what I said.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff.
And so there'll be a lot of sections with like inserts for, so please do the inserts for Shabbat and the inserts for Pesach when applicable.
Okay. And this is, again, silent. So, yes, silent Amidah. All right, so look at, you know, your pages. Okay.
Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid gad lecha, ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatcha nagdish.
V'shimchacha Eloheinu, mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed. Ki el melech gadol, ki el melech gadol, v'kadosh ata. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid gad lecha, ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatcha nagdish.
And with that, we resume our service with Vayachulu on page 53. Please rise if you have sat, and if you are continuing your davening, please do at your own pace.
Vayachulu hashamayim ve'haaretz v'chol tzivam vayachol Elohim bayom hashvi'i melachto asher asar vayishbot bayom hashvi'i michol melachto asher asar vayevarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayikadesh oto Kivo Shabbat michol melachto asher ara Elohim la'asot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Konei Shamayim ve'aretz. You may be seated. Magen Avod bivaro, Mechayim Meitim b'ma'amarom, Ha'el HaKadosh she'ein kemohu, Hameniach li'amo b'yom Shabbat kadsho, Kiva ratza lehaniach lahem, Kiva ratza lehaniach lahem, Lefanav nachavod b'yira b'fachad, v'nodeh lishmo b'chol yom tamid, me'ein habrachot. El hahodaot Adon hashalom Mekadesh hashabat Mavarech Shavi'i Umeniach b'kedusha Liyomedu shnei oneg Zecher l'maaseh v'reishit. Next page at the top, please. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu ritzei Menuchatenu Kadshenu b'mitzvotecha V'tein chelkenu b'toratecha Savenu mituvecha V'sahamchenu b'shuatecha V'taher libenu liadecha b'emet V'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu B'ahava uvratzon Shabbat Kodshecha V'yanuchu v'Yisrael Mekadesh Shemecha Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Please join me for Kaddish Shalom in the middle of page 54.
Yekadav Yekadash Merabah Bi'almadi Rachir Tevi Am Lechma Cheteva Chayachon Machon V'Chayedecho Beit Yisrael B'Galav Yitzman Karivim Meru
Amen.
Yeheshmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Ame'ol Maya Yiparach Yibrach V'Shvach V'Par V'Trom V'Yaseh V'Todah V'Tala V'Tala Shemei Kudesha B'Rechu Le'elam Mikol B'Chatav V'Shiratav V'Chatav V'Nechmata Dami Ram Bi'alma V'Meru. Tikabel sotochon v'achon decho Yisrael kadamahon dishmaya v'yimaru. Yehi shlomo rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Oseh shalom b'mamav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol Yisrael tevel v'yimaru. Okay, so let's see what we do here. All right, so now we're going to do the Kiddush for Shabbat and Yom Tov because of the holiday. So please turn in your books to page 79 for the Kiddush, and we will be doing the additions for Shabbat. So again, page 79.
I hope I gave everyone enough time to turn the page. So
Again,
it
towards
turns
the
out
middle.
this is the Kiddush cup I was married with. So just a note there. There you go. Good times.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachabanu mikol am v'romemu mikol lashon v'kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'yaltin lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'yahava shabbatot lechamanu u'modim l'simcha hagim uzamim l'sason et yom hashabbat hazeh v'yom chag hamatzot hazeh zaman hirotenu B'ahava mikra kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu v'achata v'yotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat u'modei kirishecha b'ahava uvratzon b'simcha v'sason chinchi lanu Baruch ata Adonai mekadesh hashabbat v'Yisrael v'hazmanihim l'chaim.
Chaim.
Good grape juice.
It is. Okay. Oh,
So now
we are.
we get to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Now please turn back to page 63. Really do not make this easy.
Oh, wait, this one I marked
Oh,
up
yes.
Post-its. It's all
63.
Post-its in the book. All Post-its.
I'm about to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer as it is written in the Torah. You shall count from the eve of the second day of Pesach, when an Omer of grain is to be brought as an offering, 7 complete weeks. The day after the 7th week of your counting will make 50 days. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sifrat ha'omer.
Amen.
Okay, so it's
We'll tell them the page.
towards the bottom of page 64, and yesterday was the 5th day of the Omer. So, Hayom Shisha Yamim LaOmer. Today is 6 days of the Omer.
Awesome. Oh, now tell them. Now we're back to a
Yes.
new page. So
Now we keep going back to Aleinu on page 56,
excellent.
which we turn around for.
Yes, yes. We'll turn around. You can do the mic thing. You can have that.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol latet gedula leotzer breshit shelo asanu koyeh haratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama shelo sam chelkenu kahem v'gohora leinu k'chol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'menshachavim u'modim Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu nateh shamayim v'yosei haaretz u'Moshe yikaro b'shamayim imahal u'shvinatu zo megavrei meromim hu Eloheinu einod emet malkeinu efezulato kakatu b'torato v'yadata yom v'hashevota elevavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim imahal v'al haaretz mitachat einod Elkein levach Kakatu b'tortecha naimloch le'olam va'ed v'nehemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
For those mourners and those observing yahrzeit, please stand and face east as you are able. And for those that are on Zoom, please feel comfortable to go off mute. Yitgadal v'yakadash shemei rabah.
Amen.
V'yamar divra kurate v'yamlich malkute b'chayechon u'v'yamechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipoar v'yitroman v'yisnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'ruchu. Le'la min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiram v'yamar v'yamru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav huya aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Do you want to do the announcements?
No, you can.
Okay. Announcements for Friday, April 2nd. Pesach service schedule. Day 8, this Sunday, April the 4th at 10 a.m., a Yisker service. Reminder, there is no 9 a.m. minyan. This is in lieu of. Please register to get the Zoom link on the website under calendar, under the date, and highlight that service there at 10 a.m. on Sunday. Again, that's April the 4th. Making Every Day Count. Omer Counting Spiritual Practice, starting on Sunday, April 4th, and that's at 7:30 p.m. Please check the website for the proper link. Drive-by Pizza Pie. Your first taste of chametz, Sunday, April 4th at 8:30 p.m. Registration is required. Yom HaShoah film screening and discussion, Fanny's Journey, Monday, April 5th at 7 p.m. Adult Ed Brunch, Sunday, April 11th at 10 a.m., featuring authors Alan Paul and John Labar as they share findings from their book, Marching Towards Madness, How to Save the Game You've Always Loved. New class, ring, 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 school bell, ring, ring, new class. An Introduction to Modern Hebrew meets Sundays at 1 p.m. starting on April 11th. People of the Book, Monday, April 12th at 12:30 p.m., Love Song, Becoming a Jew by Julius Lester. So for this and more, please check out the Beth Meyer website, bethmeyer.org, I think is what we are, or search Google for Beth Meyer Raleigh, and you'll find us, and then click on that calendar, look at the postings, make sure to register. Incredible programs from now. I'm sure you're going to see stuff in the coming months as well.
There's also services tomorrow morning, along with, well, not this Sunday, but normal Sunday and Wednesday night, as I'm sure you all know.
Correct.
services.
Wednesday, 7 p.m.
Yes.
Be there. We love when people join, so Zoom link and such. Okay, on that note,
How are we ending?
we're going to bring it home. We're going to
Big
bring it home. You're going to join me. Come
All right.
join me, page 62, for one of my personal favorites, and I know you're not supposed to play favorites, but please join me for the Yigdal.
Yigdal Elohim Chai v'yishtabach Nimsa v'yenei tel Mesiuto Echad v'yen yachid keyichudo Ne'olam v'gam esof lechakduto Ein lo temut haguf v'yeino guf Lo na'aroch elav kedushato Kadman l'chol davar asher nivach Rishon v'yen reshit l'reshito Hino Adon Olam v'chol nosar Yored gedulato malchuto Shefa nevuato netano Elam shesegulato v'tifarto Lo kam b'Yisrael k'Moshe od Navi u'ma'abit et tmunato Torat emet natan li'amoel Al yad nevi'o leman beito Lo yachariv ha'el v'lo amirato Li'olamim lezulato Zofar yodea sitarenu Mabish sof davar b'kadmato
Gomer Yishased, Kimi follow, no tain the Rashalav, Karishato, Yishlach Lakit Yamim, Meshiachenu, Lifto, Mechaikekes, Yeshuato, Meitim Yechael, Birov Chasto, Baruch Adeyam, Shem Tilato, Meitim Yechael, Birov Chasto, Baruch Adeyam, Shem Tilato. Shabbat Shalom, Raleigh. Shabbat Shalom. Okay.
And Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.